Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan and today we are concluding the positional tier list videos with the goalkeeper tier list. It's here. We're done with the positions. We've done forwards, we've done midfielders, we've done defenders, and now we're on to our goalkeepers. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for the support on these videos. If this video gets 2,000 likes, I will make a premium players tier list. If this doesn't get 2,000 likes, I won't take it to heart. I will kind of accept that maybe I've beaten this particular video format to death a little bit, and maybe just give it a little break to the tier list. But guys, if you are enjoying the tier list, just let me know. Like the video. That's the best way of showing me. But yeah, let's get on, guys, with the goalkeeper tier list. Don't forget to check out the others after you're done with this one, and subscribe. Yeah, let's go. Tier list. Let's go. Alright, there is 31 goalkeepers on this list. Don't ask me why I did 31. It's a pretty arbitrary number. But I made sure that I did all of the first choice goalkeepers for each of the clubs. And then we've included some substitute goalkeepers in here as well. Some 4 million goalkeepers. And we're just going to put them all on here. It's going to be a bit of an interesting one. Trying to judge players when they're all very different prices. And especially when they're goalkeepers who aren't even going to play full stop. But we'll give it a go. And we're going to start off with the 4 million goalkeepers. I'm actually going to put all of the 4 million goalkeepers in the low meh category, because even though, you know, they aren't going to get you any points really, the fact is that really we have them as back, like just on our bench, just to save money, just so we don't have to spend money on 2 different goalkeepers. So really, we don't really need to worry too much about 4 million goalkeepers. You can pretty much pick whatever and they all serve a similar purpose, but we'll try and rank them anyway, but we'll get through them pretty quickly. And then after that, we'll put different players in different categories after that. But all of these 4 million goalkeepers are going in the meh category, because if you just want them to not get any points and just be placeholders, then I guess they do their job. That's a meh. So right, Gazzaniga is probably the player I'm going to put highest up on the meh category though, because he did play actually a decent amount of games for Fulham last season. Now, he didn't end up the season as the starting goalkeeper, but he certainly started the season as the starting goalkeeper. So maybe that's kind of indication that maybe he could get some game time. And plus, because he plays for Fulham as a backup goalkeeper, it just means that he's not going to be occupying, you know, it's like not like you guys are going to want to have 3 Fulham players, right? Fraser Forster, on the other hand, we know he's not going to play, but he occupies one of your 3 Spurs slots. So if you go for Forster on your bench and suddenly realise, oh, I've already got 3 Spurs players, I want another one, and one of your 3 is just Forster wasting away on your bench, absolutely no point in having him, so definitely don't recommend him. Caballero, I'm going to put pretty low, because he's actually the 3rd choice goalkeeper, so he's not even going to play if the main goalkeeper gets injured. Steele, I guess we can put reasonably high, good backup goalkeeper. If you've got Sanchez, then maybe go for Steele as your backup. That way you've always got a goalkeeper to play. Darlow, probably going to be 3rd choice again, so he can go pretty low. We're not really interested in him. Sarkic, don't mind him, to be fair. If Jose Sad does get injured, Sarkic is actually a pretty decent backup to have there, so maybe that could be okay if and only if Sarkic gets injured. But, you know, we are really, it's wishful thinking at this point. Olsen I quite like, just because he's actually a decent goalkeeper. Sweden international goalkeeper, of course. And Martinez, I just felt like had a pretty bad season last year. So I do feel like Olsen may be ready to pounce if Martinez continues his bad form from last season. And Balcom is going to go... Balcom is going to go pretty low down as well, because he's going to be 3rd choice goalkeeper again for Brentford. So, you know, really not very useful at all. So, yeah, there you go. There's your 4 millions. Let's get on with the proper ones, I suppose. So, Pickford, I'm going to start you off with Pickford. He's probably going to be a low optional and / high meh. Not someone you're going to be too interested in. We'll put him at higher meh for now, just because I just, you know, Everton goalkeeper, he's okay. He did do quite well at the end of last season, and we know what he can do for England. But at the same time, you know, there are better at 4.5 million options. I guess because he's 4.5 million, he does become optional, but, you know, he would not be one of your first choices. I would prefer someone like Melier, to be honest, just because the fixtures at the beginning of the season are so good. And I'm kind of hoping with the incredible fixtures and the new management and Leeds making these defensive signings that could actually improve Leeds defensively a little bit. Now, Melier didn't have great save percentage and stuff like that, and, you know, expected goals conceded versus actual goals conceded. It wasn't wasn't ideal, but I do feel like, when I watch him play, I just feel like he's a good goalkeeper and has so much potential, and he's so young still, and you expect him to get better and better and better. So, yeah, I think he's okay. Mostly the fixture's based on Meslier there, but there probably are better options at 4.5, if I'm completely real. We've got Guaita, who I think has to go into the meh category, just because we've got another, we'll do him next, we've got another goalkeeper for Crystal Palace now, in Sam Johnston, who has just signed from West Brom. He was West Brom's player of the season last year, so a pretty highly rated goalkeeper, obviously an England international as well, Sam Johnston. So we're kind of confused as to who actually is going to be Crystal Palace's starting goalkeeper this season. I wish we did know, because if we had a certain answer, I think whether it's Johnston or whether it's Guaita, they actually could be really, really good options for Crystal Palace, who did seem to improve defensively last season. So I wish we knew which one was going to be playing, but unfortunately we don't. So they both had to go into the meh category. They're not quite avoids, because I do think there's some real potential here, and if you can identify which one is going to be the one to start the season, then I think you actually have the potential to get a lot of points out of that. But I haven't worked it out yet. I'm sure most people haven't worked it out either. Maybe we'll get some answers soon. But right now, we're just going to have to put them in the meh category. That arguably avoids if you just don't want to take a risk at all. We've got Dubravka here, who is going to be our first avoid. Since Nick Pope has signed for Newcastle, you feel like Nick Pope is definitely going to be the starting goalkeeper for Newcastle, which is going to pretty much mud Dubravka, unfortunately. Areola, another avoid here, because he's just not first choice goalkeeper. Again, he's second choice goalkeeper, yet you have to pay 4.5 million for him. Absolute waste of money, absolute waste of time. Definitely just don't do that. Don't do that. Bazunu, I think, I know people kind of like the idea for going for Bazunu, but I still feel like he's an avoid. He's a higher avoid than the others, because he technically can get you points, but I just don't see why you go for Southampton's goalkeeper. Southampton's defence, is he 100% nailed as well? There's still Alex McCarthy at the club, and Southampton's defence is just not the one. They don't keep very many clean sheets, and it's not like they've strengthened defensively or anything like that. So yeah, it's a difficult one. I just feel like, why would you go there? But I mean, you certainly go for him over someone like a newly promoted goalkeeper. We've got Travers here. Actually, to be fair, Travers had a decent record last season and performed quite well. He is quite young as well, but are you going to go for a Bournemouth goalkeeper in your FPL team, you know, a team threatened with relegation with horrible fixtures? Probably not. Same thing with Rodak. Probably going to put him a little bit lower, because he didn't perform quite as well as Travers last season, and he's, you know, yes, he's a starting goalkeeper, but he's playing for a newly promoted team. He's going to concede a lot of goals. The fixtures are pretty horrendous. It's not good, really. It's not a good look. We've got Raya, who I think previously would have gone into a great option, but I think actually we might have to drop him down into optional. And the only reason I'm saying that is because Strakowska has just signed for Brentford. Now, let's go with what Brentford fans are saying and actually move him up to a great option, because the general consensus is that Strakowska has signed from Lazio to be a backup goalkeeper for Raya, with the kind of impression that Raya is probably going to leave at some point in the near future. If that's the case, then yeah, Raya is still going to be the first choice goalkeeper for now, and then Strakowska is just going to be that backup goalkeeper for Brentford. But at the same time, it's like Strakowska's a pretty highly rated, or a reasonably highly rated goalkeeper. Maybe not as highly rated as Raya, but a pretty highly rated goalkeeper. Is he going to be able to displace Raya? Potentially. And I think that just puts me off Raya a little bit, just that tiny little bit. So I don't know, guys, for sure on this one. It's one of those really annoying ones where we had a great goalkeeper option before, and then just seeds of doubt start to creep in as you know, these teams make these signings. But for now, I think based on what I've read, it is still going to be Raya as the first choice goalkeeper, and therefore he remains a good option, a great option, in fact. Sanchez, we've got Sanchez next. Basically, the goalkeeper you go for if you're incredibly boring, but he's just such a reliable pick. Brighton's defence always looks pretty good, or most of the time looks pretty good, especially when they don't have injuries. They don't have injuries going into the start of the season, which is going to be a good thing for them, surely. And yeah, just a very reliable 4.5 million goalkeeper who seems to just do the job, exactly what is asked for him. Not insane scores, just nicely ticking along, exactly what you need for a 4.5 million goalkeeper. Definitely the boring option, but a very, very solid option. Henderson, I'm going to put in the meh category. I'll put him high in meh, but still in the meh category. People seem to really rate him. Look, I rate him as a goalkeeper as well, but again, this is a newly promoted goalkeeper. Well, he's not newly promoted himself, but he's playing for a newly promoted team. Forest, are we expecting them to go straight back down? Possibly. Do you really want a goalkeeper from one of the relegation threatened teams? maybe it depends how good the goalkeeper is. And we do know Sam Johnson, I'm getting confused with my goalkeepers now. Dean Henderson is a good goalkeeper. Is that going to be enough to get you points? Potentially. I think he still goes into the mare. Forest could keep some clean sheets, and I think Henderson can get some save points as well. But do I prefer him or a goalkeeper for a team that's kind of going to be more like mid-table? Probably rather go for the mid-table goalkeeper. I guess we'll move him to low optional. But yeah, I'm not personally feeling the hype around that, but I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to disagree. Right, on to the 5 million goalkeepers, and this is where we start getting some decent points, to be fair. I'm going to put Nick Pope straight in as probably the best 5 million goalkeeper. I think, you know, Newcastle are strengthening defensively. They had a phenomenal season defensively last season, and now they've just bought one of the best goalkeepers of recent Premier League history. So, fantastic goalkeeper who gets loads of saves, playing for a defence that's improved and keeping much more clean sheets than a lot of the top teams. You know, a lot of second half of last season, more clean sheets than teams like Chelsea and Arsenal and Manchester United. So quite really a top tier goalkeeper playing for a top tier defence. That seems like pretty good. He's not going to be quite the level of the 5.5 million goalkeepers, but still, for a 5 million goalkeeper, I think he could be the best one. Jose Sa, I like his fixtures. I think he is optional though. I don't know if I quite put him in the great option category. He could be okay. Emi Martinez is going straight into the avoids. I think just for the other 5 million goalkeepers are just so much better than him. Like I said, Martinez didn't have a very good season last year. Kind of conceded more goals than expected. Save percentage not very high either. And Schmeichel seemed to drop off a little bit last season as well. Although he did perform slightly better than Martinez. So we are going to put him above Martinez. But for 5 million, I think those two are both avoids. I think some of the 4.5s are actually going to outscore your Schmeichels and your Martinezes. So absolutely no point going for them whatsoever. Waste of time, waste of money. Let's just not bother with that at all. De Gea, I think, is optional. There are better 5 million goalkeepers to go for, but I kind of understand why people would go for him. Let's put him low tier optional, I suppose. He's okay, but he's not like going to be amazing, and it's very difficult to say what kind of Manchester United team we're going to get going into the new season, so probably a little bit of a risk, to be honest. I do still like Mendy. I think he's still a great option. I just don't think he is the best option at 5 million anymore. You know, he's one of those players that instinctively, when we all saw all the prices of the players, we all instinctively said, yeah, Mendy, 5 million for a top 3 goalkeeper or top 3 team goalkeeper. That's pretty crazy good value, right? But if you dig into it a little bit more, Mendy in terms of the saves that he gets, Chelsea kind of, maybe a slightly unknown quantity in terms of the defence of the new season, and knowing that he does have a mistake in him as well, it does make you wonder, actually, could some of the 4.5s outscore him? Potentially. But could some of the 5s outscore him? That actually seems kind of realistic that maybe some of the 5s could outscore him, particularly Pope, who I do think could outscore him genuinely. Some of the other 5s, maybe, maybe not. It's difficult to say, but still one of the better goalkeepers for sure. But I'm just not as convinced as him or on him as I was at one point. Ramsdale, I think, has got to go into a similar area to De Gea. Maybe slightly worse than De Gea. I think he's optional, but I don't think he's a great option. In fact, let's slip him down into high tier meh. Just the second half of the season for Ramsdale was just not the one, was it really? And Arsenal, I'm not convinced they're going to be a top defence this season. They haven't strengthened defensively or anything like that, so maybe they could still concede a few goals. The fixtures are good, however, so maybe that's something that weighs on your mind. I just feel like with Ramsdale, he's 5 million. What are you getting from him? You're getting clean sheets, you're getting the occasional save points. You can get a Tomiyasu or a Ben White for 4.5 million. So it kind of seems like you may as well spend, if you want to get on the Arsenal defence, go for a 4.5 million defender from Arsenal rather than spending the 5 million on a goalkeeper. And maybe you'll probably get similar points either way, but you spend less money going for the defender. So yeah, I'm not really feeling Ramsdale, to be honest, as a goalkeeper pick. Fabianski, yeah, I guess he is pretty meh, isn't he? Like, maybe we'll put him like here. I mean, technically you could do okay, but he's probably slightly better than a Schmeichel or a Martinez, but at the same time, you're not expecting a huge amount from him, are you really? And you are expecting some of the 4.5s to outscore him as well. And then that just leaves us with a 5.5 millions, who I guess in theory should be the highest scoring players, right? Well, I do actually think Nick Pope could potentially outscore someone like Lloris. So let's move Lloris in first of all, because I do think Lloris goes, maybe into the kind of low tier optional to, you know, high tier meh. Not someone I'm really too enthusiastic about. Let's put him in meh. Yes, he will score some FPL points, but is it worth it for 5.5? I do feel like Pope will probably outscore Lloris. I do feel like Mendy has the potential to outscore Lloris. And some of these other 4.5s, you know, Sanchez, Raya, maybe a Melia or a Pickford, but probably not, could potentially get around the same points as Lloris for 1 million cheaper. So does kind of mean, is it worth it? Probably not. Which just leaves us with the two goalkeeping goes. Now I'm gonna put Ederson into a great option tier. I'm not exactly sure where. How likely would I be to get Ederson? Probably not super likely, but he is actually a pretty decent option. Maybe we'll put him around here, just because I feel like if you did just want to get a player who is guaranteed clean sheets every single game week or most game weeks, then Ederson's a pretty good pick for that. But 5.5 million is, you know, obviously quite an expensive price. And we know with Ederson is that he doesn't get save points and he doesn't get bonus points, which really does kind of take a lot away from him. We do want a goalkeeper who's going to get save points and who is going to get bonus points occasionally as well, because often when you get save points and get bonus points, that does make up for lack of clean sheets, and you can do that. You can get these save points and you can get you know, bonus points even with less clean sheets for less money, which is why Ederson is maybe not the best value goalkeeper in the world, but doesn't make him a bad option. I think he is a great option, to be fair, but I just don't think he's anywhere near essential. And I'm not actually going to put anyone in the FPL God tier, because I'm actually going to put Alisson. I'm going to put him in the avoids, which is probably not going to go down well, because people say, what do you mean, highest scoring goalkeeper last season? How can you put him in the avoid? It's just the implication that he has. You know, if you go for Alisson, that means you have to sacrifice one of your Liverpool players. Now, let's assume that all of us have Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I know there's going to be people in the comments saying, oh, I'm going without Trent, I'm going without Salah. Fair enough, you do you, but I'm not getting involved in that particular conversation. Which leaves us well, we've got those two players, leaves us with one more position to fill from our Liverpool players. Now, who are you going to go for? You're going to go for a Robertson, highest scoring player in the second half of last season. You're going to go for a Diaz, should be, you know, starting regularly as a forward. Are you going to go for a, you know, Van Dijk playing every single game in centre-back, getting the occasional headed goals? Are you going to go for a, maybe a Darwin Nunez or a Diogo Jota if you think he's going to start the season? Or are you going to go for Alisson? You're not going to go for Alisson anytime, and by going for Alisson, you kind of stop yourself, you stop the ability to go for all of these wonderful other options, which is what makes Alisson, unfortunately, an avoid. Not because he's a bad goalkeeper, but because of the implication of going for Alisson. If you go for him, it has a knock-on effect that it's actually going to negatively affect the rest of your team, negatively affect the rest of your options, and negatively affect the flexibility of your team as well, which is something that you just do not want to get involved in. So, Alisson, very high-scoring goalkeeper, still very much an avoid for me. Definitely just not feeling this one whatsoever. Won't be coming anywhere near my team. I can tell you that with absolute certainty, and I wouldn't really recommend he goes into your teams either. So there we go. That's the tier list. That's looking okay, I think. Once again, we'll post this on Twitter for you guys to have a go. You can send me your teams. I think what I'll do is I'll put all of the tier lists I've made so far in one big tweet. Maybe pin it to my profile, and then you guys can just play around with whatever of the tier list that you want to do. You know, share them with friends, post them in group chats. I know this is the kind of thing I do, like make tier lists and post them in group chats and stuff for a bit of fun. Maybe my idea of fun is a bit more nerdy than most though, but we move. But there we go, guys. We're going to do another tier list video if this video hits 2,000 likes. I'll probably wait a couple of days before I do the next one. It will be a premium players tier list, so that'll be all players 10 million or above, so any one price 10 million or above. You know, your Kanes, your De Bruynes, your Haalands, your Salahs, all in one tier list to kind of try and help you decide which 2 or 3 to potentially go for. You can't have them all, unfortunately, so you're gonna have to pick and choose, and maybe we can help you out a little bit in that regard. But until then, we'll do a couple of other different videos that I think you're going to enjoy, and yeah, you can just enjoy the tier list videos I've made so far. There we go. Wonderful, guys. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please do leave a like. Please do subscribe if you're new around here. Don't forget to check out some of the other tier lists I've made and some of the other videos I've made as well. I've done so many videos on the new FPL season so far. Got so many more to come, but I'm developing a bit of a backlog so far. So if you are looking for more FPL tips, just FPL entertainment content, it's all there for you, basically. So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching once again. I do appreciate it a lot, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye-bye.